And welcome back. Starting to work on the flap for the right wing. Altogether, the flap is not terribly difficult. It's just a lot of little tedious work. There's a lot of preparation for this as far as working the nose ribs and working the main ribs themselves. The nose ribs, there's 8 of them. Many of them are doubled up, whether it's an actual doubler plate or if they're doubled up to the flap attached assemblies, I guess, for lack of a better term. There's basically two pieces that stick down from the flaps where it'll attach to the pivot point to attach to the bracket on the rear spar. And those assemblies are basically 2 halves that are eventually riveted together. And then there's also nose ribs attached to them where they will attach to the spar of the flap. So there's a lot of little work like that, getting everything ready. What it has you do here is I'm marking up the center line for the rivet holes on the flap attach assemblies. What it'll have you do is drill holes on the left half of each of the 2 assemblies. So you'll mark it out, and then I got a punch there to then go drill the hole with my drill press. And then it'll have you lay that on top of the other left half of the other assembly and match drill those holes. Now you don't match drill to the right half of each of these assemblies until later on. Basically what it's going to have you do is assemble everything with Clecos and then use a bolt to go through the holes of the attach point on these assemblies to make sure that they're aligned. And then once everything's Clecoed together and the bolts holding it all together with spacers, then that's when you'll match drill the right half of each of these assemblies. And that's just, again, to make sure everything's lined up so that when you go to attach the flaps to the flap brackets on the rear spar, it's all lined up and the flap will actuate correctly, and the assemblies, the flap attached assemblies, won't be misaligned. Kind of a pain as you're doing it, but once it's all together, it makes sense. So the rest of it is getting these nose ribs together. Like I said, there are several that actually just have doubler plates on them, and those are going to be your inboard rib number 1 and 2, nose rib number 1 and 2. And those will kind of the 2 faces will be toward each other, so you'll have a left and a right nose rib, and that's where your actuator is going to go in and attach to. And one of them, the number 2 rib, will have a nut plate on the back of it so that your bolt, when you go to attach the actuator to it, the bolt will screw into that nut plate. So we're just going through and doing all the preparation work. The instructions actually point out a specific location to flute if the nose ribs are not straight. There's basically one spot to flute on each one of them. So you'll go through and do all the prep work for that, and then deburr everything and make sure everything's lined up. And these are the actual doublers that go onto the 1 and 2 nose ribs. So as of making this video, I've reached now over 3,600 views in all of the videos that I've put out. So I wanted to take a time to, again, say thank you to all of those who continue to watch these videos. 3,600 may not seem like a whole lot, especially in a day of viral videos, but I'm not putting these together to make a viral video. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. You know, obviously don't take these as instruction. This is just my attempt at showing, you know, whoever's interested, the process for building an RV14. It's not nearly as difficult as some may think. There are definitely some trials that go along with it, but as anything, there's a learning curve, and once you get that learning curve, it goes by so much easier. But like I said, it's not a difficult project to begin with. So again, like I said, it's fun putting these videos together. It's definitely a lot of fun putting the project together. So I hope you enjoy these videos as much as I enjoy putting them together. But again, I wanted to say thank you for those that continue to watch these. While I'm at it, if you get a chance, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and hit the alarm bell, and you'll get notifications anytime I put these videos out. Like I said, it's a lot of fun to go through the process, and I enjoy putting these videos out. So with all that being said, like I said, working on the little small things that go with putting the flaps together. There's a lot of prep work in getting everything done and ready. You do a lot of match drilling with the doublers. You are making sure that all of the the normal prep work, deburring and all this stuff is done. And then eventually in the next video I should be starting to put everything together, and it'll kind of all make sense. So as I've said before, I'm working on the right wing first, which is not what the instructions show. They show the left wing on all the pieces. So I'm constantly having to go through and look for the mirror of whatever the drawing is showing. And so there are times where I'll pull the wrong piece and start working and putting everything together and realize, hey, this doesn't quite fit right, and realize that I just worked on the wrong piece. So there's a bit of that, and it kind of makes an interesting start. But once you get going, it's like I said, once you match everything up and it looks good afterwards, then you must have done it right. So anyway, like I said, in the next video, I should be starting to put most of these pieces together, and it'll start to resemble what should look like a flap. Right here you see me working on one of the assemblies for the flap attach bracket assembly. So we'll start putting everything together, and it'll kind of start to make sense. So I'm going to go ahead and let this video run out here. Again, for those who continue to watch these videos, I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video.